Good evening, and welcome to Single Black Female New England. I am your host, Angelita Shevin.
And I am your other host, Lolly Marcelin.
Yes, it's been a while. Happy New Year to everyone. Woo! The year ended out with a bang. It was very challenging, but we welcome you back. Hoping that this new year bring great things for everyone. Changes and growth. And Lolly?
And so we want to say that we did miss a few episodes at the end of the year, but you guys all know how that goes. We hope everyone had a holiday season for those who celebrate. For those who do not, we hope your family is all well and good. To all of our single Black ladies in New England, how y'all doing? Hope Christmas gifts y'all flowed for yourselves and nobody was flowing for you.
I ain't getting none.
Big facts. We're going to talk about that, but just not on this show.
Right.
And we wanted to wish everyone a happy new year coming into this new year. This year will be some changes for us as far as our show. A lot of our content may get a little bit more gritty because our lives are more gritty. Right?
100%.
And we are looking for more fulfillment in both our own lives, and then if we and can we meet quality in 2026. We've seen eyes roll. So
see my face, I'm all set. I just need to get my money up so I can travel and experience this life in the fullness. I'm all set. Right. I'm all set. But yes, Lolly, I am so happy to be back with you.
Me too. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's real deal Holyfield this year. We don't have time for games, and so we welcome you. Guys, we're looking for engagement. We're looking for engagement. We're seeing that, again, over 500 people are watching and listening, but then we're not getting thumbs up. We're not even getting a like. Come on. You got to engage, or else, I mean, it's discouraging. You want to encourage your sister.
Yeah.
So please engage. It does not hurt you to do a thumbs up. It helps our algorithm. It pushes us out to more viewers. So please. And again, this is a conversation that Lolly and I are having. We are not experts on any matters. It's just we are pontificating.
Touche, Angie. Touche.
Yes. So welcome.
So without further ado, Angie, would you like to kick the show off?
I will. All right, let me get my glasses.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let me get them through these braids. Jeez, I'm still getting used to them. All right. All right. Would you like to start with one of your topics, or should I start with
I can start with one of my topics.
So you have two things. Feel some way.
Let's start with Feel Some Way.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Let's start with Feel Some Way. I had a wonderful conversation with the gentleman in regard to how gentlemen in New England view no call, no show, period. Now, when you do a no call, no show with me, I treat you like an employee, you're fired. There's no middle ground. I don't need an explanation why I just let you rock, because obviously I'm not a priority enough for you to feel that you should have reached out. No problem. But this was a great conversation, and the question I have for the ladies in the audience, should we feel some kind of way? Should we feel some way if you've been talking to a guy steadily, let's say for 2 weeks straight, 4 or 5 hour a day conversations every day. You call each other, talk in the afternoon, in the morning, depending on when flexibility is. And then say you get to the top of week 3 and he doesn't call for 2 days. Then he calls again and says, hey, how you doing? And his vision is, well, you shouldn't get upset. It's not like I don't like you. Sometimes people just want to be reclusive or they want to be by themselves. Blah, 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 blah. And so Lolly's opinion on is, if you liked me, you would have called me. If you like me, you're not going to let 24 hours pass unless you had an accident, something happened with the kids, blah, blah, blah. But that means you don't really like me like that. In my opinion, what that means is that you the attention that I was giving you, and when you didn't no longer wanted any more attention, then you pulled your attention away. That's also what's considered, in my opinion, a bait and switch. Mm-hmm. That's also considered, in my opinion, breadcrumbing to some degree.
Yeah, 100%. Lolly, it is what it is, you know, and and ladies, we just need to be honest with ourselves. Stop sugarcoating it. There's this movie called He's Just Not That Into You. And it's very simple. Yeah. And it's just, regardless of status, regardless of their work day schedule, regardless of whatever is going on in life. And it goes for both male and female. Mm-hmm. If someone likes you and if someone is into you, they're going to be consistent. They're going to be thoughtful in their communication. And simply, if, you know, if someone is breadcrumbing you, if someone who, when you're in their presence, they're constantly on their phone, but then you send them a text and they don't respond till the next day or 5 hours later, they're just not into you. And it is what it is. So, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to have some self-respect and some decency? Sometimes we do that blind eye thing, or we remember willfully ignorant, right?
Yeah, willfully
Sometimes
ignorant.
you're willfully ignorant because
Absolutely.
It may be the space where you're in, where you kind of want just companionship, you know what I mean? And you take it however you get it. But I am doing a war cry to the women of New England, where we got to stop it. Let's have a, you know, they have dry January or whatever the case is. Let's, for the first couple of months, just really determine that if someone is breadcrumbing, you don't engage. If we all united, right? If we all just united and say, hey, I am not going to engage with someone who doesn't even have the common decency, where I'm clearly irrelevant, that I'm just not going to engage. I'm not going to feel obligated. I'm not going to be thirsty about picking up their phone call when they finally do call or text. You know, we don't know where they are, and it is not our job. We're not psychologists and sociologists. And even if you are professionally, that shouldn't be your romantic relationship. That shouldn't be your engagement. We are not counselors. We're not trying to figure people out. If they're not speaking and explaining and expressing themselves to us, women, let's have the decency to say, I'm not going to engage. And let's try it for January and February. Let's unite in this. This is a challenge to just say, hey, if someone is bullshitting me and treating me in a way where I'm just treated with
lack of regard.
Lack of regard, then I'm not going to engage.
But I think a lot of us are doing that already. I think, I mean, I know I am.
Okay.
I know I am.
Well, I wasn't.
Yeah, but you wasn't. That means that, but it wasn't like you had before. It was one special. There's always that one person where they get under your skin. It's not they get under your skin. You love them. Yeah. And then, so that's the weakness. It's always that one person, but there were plenty you were not engaging with. Yeah. There were plenty you were dismissing very early on. Yeah. So, and I think that's okay. I think a lot of us are doing it. I think sometimes when you let your guard down and you're a little bit vulnerable, of course you can slip and fall, right? But the bottom line is that doesn't change your standard. That's just like, okay, he got under my skin. Better luck next time for me. I'll make a better choice. Yeah. That's it.
No, you're right. You're right on that.
Yeah.
100%. Thank you for...
Yeah, absolutely. It's not...
Yeah. And don't be tough on yourself, ladies. Be tough on yourself. If you find yourself in a situation, because, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and then you sit and you're like, yo, that was just all game. This person was mind fucking you. You know, they definitely was stringing you along or breadcrumbing you, and maybe again, like, because you might have, because sometimes, like, your soul may recognize another person's soul, and although they may not be functioning in the state where your soul, especially if you're an empath and if you're a person that's super spiritual, a lot of times you're able to see someone at their highest level, even though they're not functioning on their highest level.
That's correct.
And so sometimes, you become vulnerable, like you said, and you kind of allow space, and you compromise, and you do things or allow this person to engage with you when any other person you would be like a hell no. So, give yourself grace. But let's try and do this challenge. If you were, like you said, kind of find yourself at a weak space, let's try and do a strong January and February. I think it's just good for our souls. It's good to refortify yourself, and then you just get back on the wagon.
Get back on the wagon.
Right.
Exactly. So on to the next word.
So the next one would be for me, which is energy transfer / it's really a question. Does promiscuity affect men in the same way that it does women?
Oh, I have so much to say about this.
Yeah, so what I was thinking, talking to my daughter, and what we were thinking about is just that a lot of times engaging in sex is out of boredom. It's out of, you might be stressed, you might be feeling anxious. A lot of times it's coming from a very primitive space. So it's very low functioning, right? So you engage because, not necessarily because, I definitely, that transfer of energy is real in sexual relationships and when you engage sexually with someone. There has been times that I've felt someone else's anxiety. And there is, because I did look up some research to this, and there is science that shows some correlation, although you can't exclusively contribute sometimes some of the depression and the feelings that you may feel after engaging with someone who may be depressed, who may be anxious, who may be using sexual intercourse as just a way to escape and get away from addressing whatever things that may be going on with them in life. But so that's what I'm thinking, though. Does that part, because I know when I engage sexually with someone, like you mentioned it before, that your heart is connected to your vagina. And I do, regardless, and again, I do find that with women and the women that I know, they usually fall, like they may start something off like, hey, I just have this itch and I need to scratch it. But then it eventually goes into this feeling thing. And the energy, right, and this connection and this desire for a person who may not be aligned with you in all other ways, but because you share that sexual energy, now you're making concessions in your mind of how this person possibly could fit into your life.
Okay.
And does it affect men the same way? I do feel that it does, but they may not stop enough to really think about it.
Great segue. Because I literally had a conversation with a gentleman last night about this. I'm going to first give the scenario that he tried to play with me. I'm not even going to tell you how I responded because you already know it's a 0 dark 30 a moment. But I'm going to say that this was such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation to talk about, Angie.
Yeah.
His perspective was, well, if I like you and I feel some kind of feelings for you, why wouldn't I want to be intimate with you? I may not want a relationship, but I want some type of intimacy. And I said, so you want friends with benefits? And he said, I mean, you got to build a friendship first before you can have anything. I said, but I don't have to build a friendship with my body first with you. That's not what we're talking about. That's what you want. That's not going to happen. Right? But I asked him, I said, let me understand something. I said, so you have a rotation. He said, I don't got a rotation. I said, yes, you do. You have a rotation. And in that rotation, right, I said, all these women have different personalities. They have different spirits. They have different souls. You're taking all of those souls in every time you lay with this person. I said, none of that rubs up on you? So I know where you're going. And he goes, well, I don't see it like that. And I said, and there lies the dichotomy. Because what you're saying is that you want to have intimacy with no strings attached. But there's strings attached because there is souls attached. That's why it's called a soul tie. And you're trying to act like it's not, but then you want to know why you wake up on a Tuesday. You got a mood swing. Girl. You don't know why. Straight up. You wanna wake up on a Wednesday and you feel overly emotional. You don't know why. It's because you have all of these spirits that you're laying with, and you're taking those spirits in, and you're incorporating them into your being. Because sex is a powerful tool. It is not to be played with.
It's a creative tool.
It's a creative tool. So why would would you as a man think that it's not impacting? It is impacting you. You're just not willing to accept it. You made a comment about some women, and you're right. We start off with, I just want a friend. Yeah. I just need an itch scratch. Yeah. That's what I think you said. I need an itch scratch. And then, of course, that turns into something more, especially if the intimacy feels connected and good and you feel like one, especially if you're doing unprotected sex. Because the most precious thing, and I've said this, is your body. Yeah. It is your temple. It's how you feed your family, live, eat, and breathe. So, this is a little side note, but when you ask me for some, I'm going to ask for some money. Because you're asking for something precious. And in my opinion, I'm asking for something that's intangible. Tangible. At the end of the day, the bottom line is Angie has a valid and wonderful point. Those souls are being taken in. You're sharing them. That personality, that being is part of your being. And so I'm supposed to what? Not feel away? Yeah. When you tell me that, I ain't call you on a Tuesday because I was busy. Right. I don't give a good goddamn. The sky could have been falling. I mean, my phone number is, because you could have texted me, see if I was okay if the sky was falling on my head.
It takes 2 seconds.
It takes 2 seconds. So, but I make a joke to make a valid point, like Angie is saying, and that is, of course it impacts you for men and women.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And, I'm going to speak directly to what men really care about. Men care about their resources and their time. And believe it or not, engaging in like meaningless sex or escapist sex, I do believe it gets and interferes with your time frame, that it disrupts your productivity. It disrupts, even if you choose not to engage with that person outside of the bedroom, that energy is going to, because that woman is feeling away.
Yeah. And she should.
And y'all are connected. Like, the world is one. It is a universe. All of us are all interconnected. Like, it's almost like you may be having a bad day. You're my friend.
Yes.
I feel it.
Yes.
Just because of the interactions that we have. And I call you or I text you. And you're like, yo, I was just filming this. Or like, Jess is here. We have a live audience member. And
Jess is her name.
It's always like that, where when you interact with people, right, you then become so connected with them. So imagine physical intimacy, how much more. So that woman or these women that you may be sleeping with have these ill feelings and they're saddened. That sadness is going to come on you. You don't even know why. It's going to affect your productivity. It's going to affect how you go along with your day. So it's just a call for action. And this is where I'm at this year. I'm like, no bullshit, no nonsense. I just want everyone to stop and take inventory. And sex is very primitive. It's very low functioning and low vibrational, especially if it is meaningless. And I refuse to function on that level. Angelita has officially joined the toy game. And ladies, because I'm telling you, there was there was a lot of apprehension based on how I was raised, based on thoughts about religion.
I haven't got there yet, so
but it's all good, to each his own. But I will tell you, for those people who've been debating, I refuse to compromise and engage in meaningless sex with a man who doesn't court me, who doesn't show love for me, who doesn't show consideration for me, who doesn't allow me to love them, who doesn't allow me to be considerate for them. Like, I'm just not with it. I'm just with real engagement this year. So I will have, for those, because women, there are times of the month when we become, because that's how we were made, right? You become very aroused around certain times of the month because it's usually ovulation time, and it's to receive that semen to create, right? It is the sexual energy is really, you create whole other human beings. Why are we using it so frivolously? I'm not doing that this year, so.
And on that note, the next word. That's it.
Yeah, the next word. You had confusion, babe.
Bless your heart. I dropped the glasses.
That's all right.
Confusion. All right, so let's begin with. I believe that men in New England play manipulation games so that they can confuse you and you don't think straight. Let's begin.
Ditto. Facts.
Let's begin. Big fucking facts.
Yeah.
Let's begin. So what do these games look like, ladies, especially in New England? Okay, so the game begins with this. I'm going to throw a story out with, I don't take women out. Okay. Fine. It's a requirement to take me out. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's unpack this. This is the gentleman who told you he doesn't take you out. Let's unpack it. You start to unpack it, and you start to unpack it, thank you, and you're like, you start to learn a little bit more as to why they believe that, right? And so then they say, well, I don't take women out, but what I will do is, well, let's talk more. Let's have long, in-depth conversations, because you know who I'm thinking about, Politico. You know who I'm thinking about, Politico.
Right.
Let's talk more. Let's have some conversation. So you're bonding. This is not over a week. Right. This is over weeks. Right. You're having, he's calling you in the morning, calling you in the afternoon, touching base, following up, checking in, all of this stuff.
Singing you songs. So you thinking
that you're building a very strong and healthy foundation so that you can actually get to that point. At least to a date point, right? Maybe they took you on a date, a so-called date very early on. But in their mind, that's the only date they really going to take you on. Because everything after that is they're going to try to see if you about coming to the house and they cooking for you or something like that. Which is low vibrational, like she said. It's low vibrational. It's dusty. Okay? But it's low vibrational. But the long short is that. And so then as you move a little forward, you're like, okay, so 3-4 weeks have passed. I'm looking for a date. And this person doesn't ask you on a date. What they try to do is say, well, do you feel like we know each other? I do. Like, we've had all these great conversations. I feel like we're aligned. Like, there's a lot of, I feel like there's chemistry. And like, okay, well, I was wondering, if you could just maybe spend the night.
Oh, this is We don't have a name for our friend yet.
Yeah, we don't have a name for our friend yet, but we do know that he's not the only friend that does this. Mm-hmm. If it's not spend a night, can you come to the house? Can you do a Tubi or Netflix and chill? You know, I Tubi's and chill by myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I still do it. But Angie's right. Like, so why is this confusion? It's confusion because here you are thinking you've spent hours in communication building some type of foundation, really feeling like you're getting to know this person. And you on these phone calls, you have said, what do you like to do? I like to do all these things. So this person now knows you like to do all these things. And yet it's confusing because they want to talk you to death. They do. Mm-hmm. They want to talk you to death. Mm-hmm. But none of that changes into, well, let's finally go out and have something and do something you like to do. Or something I like to do if it's outside of the home. Right? And then you get confused. You're like, but I don't understand. Like, we're having these, like, what am I missing? But it's not what you're missing. What it is what they're missing, because that's their manipulation tactic. It is to let your guard get down because they're like, okay, so fine. You want to go out. I took you out one time. Now I want to talk and everything because the next time I see you, I want you at my house. Or I want to be at your house. I want to be inside doing something because I really don't do that. And you're like, but I do that. And they're like talking to you. And you're like, I told you what I do, but they still talking to you. They still talking to you. They still trying to build engagement.
We're not aligned. It's simple.
We're not aligned. It's simple. So the bottom line is that if you are confused, it's not because of you. It's because the person that you've allowed in your space is making you confused.
100%. And the thing is, Lolly, again, you know me. I'm not going to tell you what I like. But if you got eyes, you can see. If you got ears, you can hear.
But maybe you should.
No. You know why?
I don't.
If you're calling me and you see that I'm out, if you're, you realize and recognize I have a full life. You see that I travel by myself. You see that I go to dinner by myself. You see that I go out to events with my friends or by myself. You see that I like to read. You see that I am a sophisticated, worldly woman just from engagement, right? But you don't desire or feel that, okay, here's this person. If alignment means that you're also going to be, hey, maybe it's not things that you are accustomed to doing, but we're aligned in the way, or you're that interested, or you're interested in me enough to say, hey, I notice you like to do this. Is there something you want to recommend? I have no problem recommending things, but you have to be willing and open. I am not going to beg a man to take me out. And if I like you, and I've said to you several times, I like to engage and have experiences. I'm an experienced woman. Most women are. And just to peep you and hip you to game men, like, there are so many women out here that are horny, are in need of physical touch. And if there was just a little bit of effort, panties are dropped. So I'm hitting you the game. But I don't know. Again, it just goes back to decency as a woman. And I do believe that there are men out there that you don't have to tell these things. I think the men that are out here, they're I don't take women out, and I don't court, I'm just gonna try and have you come to my house. I just believe they're functioning on a juvenile level.
And low.
And they're dealing with hurt.
Yeah,
or
they're dealing with hurt.
They're punishing
other women.
Like, listen, I've been through my heartaches and challenges and disappointments in relationship, but I still come because I've done the work. Go to counseling, man. I've done the work. I come fully and wholly. And yes, there are apprehensions at times, but I'll be the first to communicate that with you. Like if I shut down because this is what has happened, but because I like you, I am going to show you that I'm going to push past this uncomfortable stage. But shit, you gotta be doing the same.
You gotta be doing the same.
You gotta be doing the same. Yeah.
There's no. If it's about reciprocity.
100%.
And I get the hurt and I get the pain and the healing. Then, bro, handle that.
Yes.
You said a comment over the summer. It was like, I'm not that woman, right? I'm not that. I don't know. You said something like that where go to them, which means go to counseling. Get fixed. Yeah. Get healed.
Go see the lady.
Go see the lady. That's what you call it. Go see the lady. And she's right. Angie is right. Go see the lady. That is not our job. We're not coming to you broken. We're coming to you like you made a beautiful statement. Open and willing. And if you're open and willing and receptive to that, then you're going to want to do those things for the woman that you say you like. But if you're going to always be out here just trying to do a hit and run, then when a woman tells you that it's required, then just walk away.
Yeah.
Don't exchange numbers, just go.
It's not a challenge.
It's not a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Right.
So, what's our final word?
Final word was, I think that was it mine?
Yeah, it is, I did.
Girl, with them glasses, I ain't even gonna fumble with them. I text you.
Let me see him, I can see.
Okay. Oh. Protection differences. All right, so we're going to just bring it back to what's going on in the United States of America. There's nothing new. And usually I don't like to engage in political conversation. But, and I've always said it, when the Black Lives Matter movement first started, my 21-year-old daughter was so intense to the point that she literally was making herself sick, to the point she had breakdowns mentally because of, she's very socially aware, social justice, and, but it's kind of like what you focus on is always going to be more of what you see. And I was telling her during that Black Lives Matter piece, like, Black Lives Matter, 100%. It is no longer, and especially speaking of now, with the political discourse that is going on in the U.S., and now the so-called majority, right, are white women, and a lot of white men are not happy with the current president and some of the things that are happening. What I say and what I said to her during that time is, they need to speak up and they need to march. And my heart goes out to this mother who just died, who was shot. My heart really goes out, and as a mom, as a woman, just as a human being, it's just very sad. But it's really now like the protection differences, and it's so bad, and I don't want to say this, but it is what it is. It's just real conversation. Don't cancel me. But the response, do you see now that it actually has other people and a lot more people speaking out now against the unfairness, and the fact that we in the United States of America in 2026 are rounding up human beings because they're in a location. We're calling them illegals. We're treating them like crap. That it's this woman's life that had to be taken for people to feel like now they need to protect. And it's very sad. And it's just black folks, black women, black men have had police brutality and mistreatment, and the protection's not there. But now there's a look, and it's just a difference in protection. And for all of our white audience, it is what it is. And the reality is, it is your time. Black folks have been on the line protesting and demanding for years, centuries. You're not happy with this? It's your time.
Okay. Because when you, I didn't know where she was going with it when you brought the word up, and now I'm aligned. I'm gonna start with explaining a situation that happened to me when I went to the Hancock in Worcester, Massachusetts last night to see Chicago. I went to a show in Chicago and.
Right here.
I'm sorry, not in Chicago. I'm sorry. I went to go see Chicago in Worcester at the Hancock. And I was by myself. And I was in the middle of all non-white, non-black people. When I got to the show, I had not been familiar with the new 2026 Broadway rule, which is when the opening act starts, if you're not in your chair, there's an 8-minute hold. In the hallway, several of us it had to be at least a good 50 downstairs, maybe another 50 upstairs. So let's say 100 people in the lobby waiting to get in. We're escorted to our seats.
That's not like you. You're usually early. Right. So, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It hit the nail right on the head. Mm-hmm. And I was concerned about my son. My son was not feeling too good, so I had my phone on my hip. Now, I'm not going to go into anything that comes to my son. I don't care what you're talking about. My phone is not getting turned off. He called, I'm picking it up. I don't care. Okay? So in any case, I get walked to my seat. I was in the orchestra area. And I sit in the middle of all of these non-black people. And this white lady on the right side of me had an attitude. She kept looking at me for like a good 15, 20 minutes. Then my phone lit up. It was on vibrate, but my phone lit up. And then she had the nerve to say, well, you came late and you should turn your phone off. And I said to her, you need to mind your motherfucking business. You don't know what's going on.
Karen.
Yeah, I was Karen 1. I'm surrounded by Karens. So a few minutes later, because my son is calling me at the hospital, let me know what's going on, touching base, which was our policy. The man behind me, non-black man, says to me, do you need to turn your phone, came up behind me on my ear. Do you need, with stinky breath, do you need to, you need help turning your phone off? I said, is you going to help me turn my phone off? And his attitude was, oh, yeah, I can turn it off. It's not hard. It's 2 buttons on the side. So before I could say something to him, there was another lady sitting as close to me, right here next to me, like Angie. She was like, if you have a problem with your phone, you need to go back there. Now, mind you, this is Chicago. We're only 45 minutes in. I'm waiting to intermission to go 0 dark to me. Intermission comes, and I first approached the first woman who said something to me, and I told her, if you ever in your life decide you see me and say something to me, I would suggest you don't. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. You do not know what's going on in someone's life in this very critical and political climate. You know nothing of what's going on and why my phone is letting up. My phone wasn't ringing. If the fucking patron at the door didn't have a problem with it, you shouldn't have a problem with it. I approached the man behind me, and I said, if you ever come up behind... This is my niece coming into the house now. Hold on, y'all.
That ringtone.
Hello? Hello?
Real life, okay, y'all.
Yeah. Real life, y'all. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to open the door. Hold on. Recording what? I have a key, remember that?
Guys, we have a live studio audience. Hi.
Okay, so
finish.
All right, so with that being said, so I checked him and told him, if you ever come up behind, first of all, you should never speak behind a woman behind her back. You should never do that. But then you should never whisper in anyone's ear who's a stranger, because you might wind up getting fucked up. So then the woman next to me, and I told, because when she told me I need to go back there to my phone, she grabbed my phone.
No, she didn't.
She did. So when mind you, this is intermission, everybody getting checked. So when I sat next to her, next to intermission, I said to her, don't you ever grab my motherfucking phone again. I'll smack the hell out of you. So now everybody, all the non-black people feeling concerned. I get up and I do what I do. I go to the bar, give me a drink. You know I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. I went to the bathroom, and so I'm at the bathroom, and the lady who started the situation, who was sitting on the other side of me, she was in front of me looking nervous. I was right behind her. I could have breathed in that bitch neck. And I'm looking at her like this. She looking nervous as hell. And I'm like, I ain't even worried about you. You're a clown. We go back in. We sit down. Again, it's still intermission. And so the manager... patron, I guess is the manager patron who walks you down, who's over all
like the usher. Mm-hmm.
Comes over to my aisle and says, may I talk to you for a minute? I said, for what? She said, oh, can you please just come with me for a minute? I said, well, I'm not coming with you anywhere. Well, we can talk in the aisle before the show starts. I pay my money for my orchestra street. See. So I come out, and she's like, well, I heard that there was a little situation. What happened? I said, well, did all of them over here tell you what happened?
Right.
And she was like, yeah, and that's why I want to get your side. I said, well, you don't need my side. What you need to understand is that you got people touching people's private property. You got people in other people's business. And you got people who whispering up behind people, invading their personal space. So
a strange man.
A strange man.
Would never do that to a woman.
Exactly. So you got all that going on. And what I got is having none of it. And she said, well, I understand there might have been some friction. We don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. And so you're not comfortable because I think they're a little uncomfortable and you're probably a little comfortable. I'm going to move your seat. And I said, not only
Angie, I'm sorry. I don't.
Not only are you not moving my seat, but if you move my seat, you're going to move everybody out of this auditorium today. She said, excuse me? I said, you heard what I said. And I turned around and I pointed at everybody. Everybody gonna have to leave. So she thought what that meant for a minute, because I was on show the fuck out mode for my money. And she walked her happy ass. Well, I just want to make sure you were safe. I said, well, do you feel safe? Because I feel safe. And sat my little happy ass down around the surroundings of me. So there is what you're saying. There's a clear disrespect and divide for us. And they're trying to ramp it up. They feel emboldened. And what they've forgotten is that we are not the people of color from our ancestry. We know nothing of it other than the history that we learned. Now they need to wake the fuck up, because they got a lot more Malcolm X's in this bitch than they do got MLKs. Now, I'll tell you that right now. That's why they call young YNs, right? That's why they call YNs, because they out here wilding in these streets. Right. But you trying to deal with grown folk. Not only are we grown, we have no patience. I'm in my 50s. I have no patience for the bullshit. I'm checking you, your mama, your cousin, your great-granddaddy, if he was involved in the altercation. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the bottom line is this. There's always been this kind of protection differences. Huh. There's always been. The situation with the woman in Minnesota, I just found out about it. I really had not done my due diligence today. It's so crazy that you bring this up, because today was the first day that I did. And I said, oh my goodness, I grabbed my pearls. But then when I grabbed my pearls, I said, kind of reminds me of, let's see, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor,
countless, nameless, and modern day lynching, right? Because we know the public execution of black folks has been throughout time, and it's to program and to instill fear.
Yeah.
And there's never a resort of protection. There's always some reason why this happened, or it's just, reality is that we still may be considered, 3/4 of a human being, so there's never a cry out of protection or a cry out of injustice. And again, my heart goes out to her family. And, you know, I always forget this. Right now, we are working on the Holocaust unit, right? We're working on the Holocaust unit right now with my students. And I always think of the poem about when they came for my neighbor, no one spoke up. When they came for this person, no one spoke up. When they came for that person, no one spoke up. And then when they came for me, there was no one left to speak up. And I just don't understand how people could be okay. First off, these are imaginary lines and borders that we are so emboldened and so cold-hearted that we could think of human beings as just trash to be thrown out, dragged out, children even torn away. We have camps and facilities that we're putting people in because we feel they should not be on a specific land that none of us created.
But we know the problem. The question is, what are we going to do about it? That's where we at.
Well, right now I'm calling for the white folks. Y'all got to be on this line. It is your turn to speak up and to know that this is Pandora's box. We are in a political climate that this is Pandora's box. If you're not speaking up, if you're lacking empathy, which is the bridge that bridge all social divide, having empathy, if you're not having that, listen, it's gonna come your time. Because we are in a slippery slope. Democracy is being threatened. And y'all need to wake up. So white folks, it's your turn. It's your turn to be out there marching. It's your turn to be out here on these lines. Because guess what? Your rights are also being threatened. And that's all I'm saying.
So, on that note, I mean, Malcolm X sister over here, Sister Soldier on the right.
But I told you, I'm about it.
Yeah, you did. I was just passionate over the summer, right? The bottom line is that we know this has been going on for a while, and the question is, what the fuck are we going to do about it? I'm done talking.
That's it.
We could chop that on out. But on that note, we have now reached the end of our show. Yeah. We are excited to have you guys with us for this new 2026. We are focused, committed, elevated, and ready to go. You can watch our show, Single Black Female, on YouTube and listen to our podcast, Single Black Female, on 65 channels to include Apple iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, and such. Angie?
We're looking for engagement. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you, and Happy New Year. And guess what? Every day, every second is an opportunity to begin new. So it doesn't have to be January 1st. If you messed up yesterday, guess what? Today is a new day that you can start over. Bye. Bye. Thank you for joining us.